The Garrett Crochet trade rumors are continuing to heat up, and we actually got our first report yesterday of a potential trade package from USA Today Sports, Bob Nightingale. And I will say this, it does include a few players that you guys know and some of you love. But before we get into that, I do want to ask you guys to please subscribe to Phillies Digest if you have not already. A ton of you guys are watching our videos every day. We are climbing the ladder very fast right now, and we appreciate every single one of you guys. But we do want all of you guys to be subscribed so you know exactly when we are posting and when everything is live. So I do want to dive into this now because we did get a report yesterday from Bob Nightingale stating that the Phillies have been shopping outfielder Nick Castellanos for nearly 2 years and are now making third baseman Alec Bohm available. They have spoken about Bohm and outfield prospect Justin Crawford now in extensive trade talks with the Chicago White Sox for starter Garrett Crochet. But the White Sox are concerned with Bohm's struggles in the second half. He did post a 681 OPS with just 4 home runs. If the Phillies trade Bohm, they are expected to make a strong play for Alex Bregman, whose talent and personality would fit in perfectly with the team, or perhaps sign Willy Adames, former Brewers shortstop, and move him over to third base. The Phillies are starting to age with their best and highest paid players in their 30s and catcher JT Realmuto in the final season of his 5-year, $115 million contract. So with that, I do want to dive into this now because this is big because we officially got our first potential package. Now, we know Bohm has been shopped around a lot, it seems. There was obviously the report that the Kansas City Royals were interested in Bohm. There were other teams that did check in on Bohm, and it seems like, based on multiple reports, that the Phillies are shopping Bohm pretty heavy. But this first big name now for Justin Crawford, that is really the first time we've heard Crawford's name be announced so far this offseason. The number 3 prospect for the Phillies, the outfield prospect, the son of former Ray. This is big because this is now, we've sort of now diving into the conversation of what prospects are untouchable and which ones aren't. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Justin Crawford is untouchable because he's not. If the White Sox came to you right now and said Alec Bohm, Justin Crawford, and one more lower prospect that's not Adam Miller or Andrew Painter, I'm going to jump on that deal. And I'm not going to lie, I think the Phillies would too. This is from Jack Fritz of 94.1. I really do believe that outside of Soto, the Phillies trading for Crochet would be the most impactful thing that they could do this offseason. The cost in the trade will be high. Once again, we've noted that on this channel a lot. This will be a high package, but I think he has a shot to have a Wheeler-like takeoff here. The guy struck out 30% more batters than he walked last year. The injury concern is there, but again, a future rotation of him, Wheeler, Nola, Painter, and Sanchez is pretty insane. And Jack is absolutely right. If you take a look at some of these Garrett Crochet stats here, they're absolutely incredible. When this guy is on the field, he is really good. He made 32 starts last season. He had a 3.58 ERA and 146 innings. He struck out 209 batters in 146 innings. He had a 12.9 strikeout per 9. This dude's got nasty stuff. We've seen this. We've seen his stuff. I've talked about Crochet a lot, and obviously, he's, honest to God, probably the biggest name that's going to be traded this offseason. There are multiple teams in on Crochet that have now been rumored. The Red Sox are pushing heavy. They've been pushing really heavy all season for arms. This Red Sox team is setting out this offseason to drastically improve their team. They had a bad year last year, and they're looking to improve their team, but really their rotation. There's been some rumors for Crochet, Max Fried in free agency, Corbin Burns, all that type of stuff. But this trade package, I think, for the Phillies will be good. My big thing from the jump is I'm not ready to part ways with Adam Miller or Andrew Painter. I think those two guys are really part of the future of this franchise, and honestly, both of them could be extremely high names in this franchise. So if the White Sox were to come to the Phillies and say, hey, we'll give you Alec Bohm, Justin Crawford, Starlin Caba, and Eduardo Tait. Maybe not Tait. I'm doing that deal. Like, that is a deal for me that I'm going to them and saying, yes, let's do this. Now, with that comes a replacement. How do you replace Alec Bohm? There's not a ton of good third basemen on the market. It is a top-heavy group with Alex Bregman leading the way. There were obvious reports that we talked about stating that Bregman was looking for potentially an 11-year deal. I'm not going to lie, I don't think that's insanely true. I would be shocked if Alex Bregman got an 11-year contract. I don't think his game right now is translating to a team that says, hey, we want to give this guy 11 more years. That is not something to me that the Phillies should do, and really, I don't think any team should give him 11 years. But there's not a ton of options after that. The Phillies are obviously waiting for Aiden Miller. I don't believe, and from what I've heard and from what people have said, Aiden Miller's not going anywhere. This kid is basically quote unquote untouchable for the Phillies. They love this kid. He is going to be a star. He's already impressed. He has the mindset. They drafted Aiden Miller to be a Philly. They didn't draft Aiden Miller to trade him to another team. That's really where it seems like the team is at right now with Aiden Miller. So the issue is here, if Bregman wants that big of a deal, that seems like that's sort of off the table. But if you got Bregman on a, say, 3 or 4 year deal, if he's willing to take that, now there is a chance he could go out and look for a 6 to 7 to 8 year deal, which is a lot different than an 11-year deal. I think that is definitely more likely than, once again, the 11-year deal. But once again, for this Crochet trade, right, this package of Bohm and Crawford and stuff like that, this replacement would obviously be needed. But at the same time, you would be losing one of your top prospects. This kid has been unbelievable for the Phillies. He is an unbelievable defender. The bat's really starting to come along. The issue right now down in the minors is that some scouts are concerned that he's hitting the ball into the ground too much. And I will say this, from the time he was selected by the Phillies and throughout his first year in the minors up until now, there has been drastic improvement. This was back in August when he was promoted to the Jersey Shore Blue Claws, the Phillies High A associate. The Phillies first round selection in 2022. This was his rookie season down in Low A. / 344, 399, 478 in 69 games in Single A with 95 hits, 16 doubles, 3 homers, 60 RBIs, and 40 stolen bases. This kid's good. He's fast. He can play the outfield. But is he in this team's future? And I sit there and I do say yes, but I don't consider him right now as some huge untouchable prospect. He still has his flaws. He's still young. And this, I think, is the way that the Phillies should go about this rather than trying to put Aiden Miller or Andrew Painter in a deal. Because once again, I don't think they want to do that. Granted, I don't think they want to trade away Justin Crawford, but I think they know that there is 2 tiers right now to the Phillies' top prospects. I would say Miller and Painter are probably in that top tier, and I would say Justin Crawford is just in that tier under them. I wouldn't put Crawford up in that top tier yet. He is once again the number 3 prospect in the Phillies organization, but he does have his flaws once again. At the same time, he is a very skillful player that does have a lot of potential, and I think he is a player that, I mean, obviously the White Sox could need. The White Sox they should take about just about anyone at this point. But as far as Crawford, I think he is definitely a guy that some people don't think he could be a number 1 candidate in a trade for a guy like Crochet. But at the same time, if it was a Bohm Crawford sort of package with another few prospects after that, I think that would probably be the right move for the Phillies. So if you were Dave Dombrowski, are you doing this trade? Are you trading Alec Bohm, Justin Crawford, and a few more prospects for Garrett Crochet? Because I'll tell you this, once again, just like Jack Fritz said, if you have a rotation going into 2025 of Zack Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Garrett Crochet, Ranger Suarez, Christopher Sanchez. And once again, Suarez's name has been shopped. So the White Sox could try and maybe have a Bohm Suarez sort of thing if that's really what they wanted to do. Ranger's name has been brought up a few times now in rumors. So there is no 100% guarantee that Ranger is back in 2025. But for now, let's just say that he is here. If you had that Wheeler, Nola, Crochet, Sanchez, Ranger 5 with an Andrew Painter on the way, that is nasty. So once again, this has been Phillies Digest. My name is Luke Arcaini. Do you want Garrett Crochet? Are you all in? Yes or no? Let me hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments. And that is it for me, and we will see you next time on Phillies Digest.